Making movies to me is about images besides everything else. It's like making a painting. So the cinematographer is absolutely critical. I mean, he's the paintbrush ultimately, man, that actually puts the daub on the canvas.
Roger Pratt is one of the leaders of a new wave of British cinematographers. His remarkable imagery for director Terry Gilliam has resulted in a creative partnership.
One of the great things that I liked about Roger was that he took a long time when he decided he was a director of photography. In many ways, I kind of forced him into doing some of it quicker than he might have wanted to do.
My father was an Anglican vicar, and I think a showman himself, and he used to, every year, he'd bring a 16mm projector into the church and show fact and faith films, which were, I found, the mixture of the mechanics of the camera and the content of the film. I was probably about 9 at the time. Fascinating.
While at the London Film School, Roger got his first chance to work on a production, directed by fellow student Mike Leigh.
There was someone crewing up for a film while I was in my last year, and that guy was Mike Leigh. We spent 3 months making a film called Bleak Moments, and bleak crewing. It was a very difficult film to make and very little money. Then I went back to the film school, and another old boy, Julian Doyle, did corporate videos, one of which was for the Pythons, and he was getting together a feature film, and I managed to get in as a loader. And that was Monty Python and the Holy Grail. And I formed a strange but intimate relationship with Terry Gilliam at this stage.
It's interesting because of the work, and particularly I think Brazil, that set Roger up in a lot of people's minds as being a great cameraman, and he's moved on to do all sorts of things. But I mean, Roger, again, is very cautious about what he chooses to work on. He wants to work on things that he believes in.
These are just some of the highlights of Roger's career. Roger's feature film was Neil Jordan's Mona Lisa, for which Roger created his own unique vision of London.
We've just finished a movie at the moment, at the end of the affair. It's the only film I've done with him since Mona Lisa. You know, I've tried to get him several times, but we've never fell into sync. And it was so refreshing because the film I've just finished is about intensity of performance, you know. And it was so refreshing to have a cameraman there whose every single contribution actually was as much to the image as it was to the emotional texture and the deeper emotional texture of the film itself, you know. That's the way he works.
Tim Burton's Batman, shot at Pinewood with stunning set design by Anton Furst, was Roger's first experience of a big-budget Hollywood movie.
Batman was my first large American financed film, and it was quite awe-inspiring. But Tim was very kind and supportive, and Anton kept building these wonderful sets and gave me little room but for excellence.
Roger's industry, Roger's work, Roger's preparation, and his total commitment to the job is quite phenomenal. No, I've never met a cameraman who comes on the set so totally prepared and knowing exactly what he wants to do.
Fisher King is my particular favourite for many reasons. One is that on the one hand we had New York, the real gritty New York, and on the other this fantasy world that the Robin Williams character had in his head.
Alone? Go! Come and get it! I need a drink.
Hey, I know a fabulous place with great ambiance.
One of the most satisfying things is being in New York with a New York audience watching that film, and they come out of the cinema and they look and they say, I've never seen New York like that. And these are people who've lived there all their lives.
I think fantasy is actually one of the hardest things to achieve as a cinematographer, because although you can say, well, the world is your oyster, you have to start somewhere, and I think fantasy is very difficult to pull off.
Terry Gilliam used to walk around New York City, sometimes with me, looking for locations or sampling atmosphere. And he saw this castle, which in fact is a New York arsenal, fell in love with it, and decided that that would be the home of the Holy Grail. I think it's a wonderful image in the middle of all that high-tech, high-rise building.
The castle in Fisher King that was a location we found by chance. It's an old armory that was built probably in the 30s, and it's a castle. And I said, well, that's fantastic. Roger said, we can't use it. That's what you would expect in a Terry Gilliam film, but I'm not trying to do a Terry Gilliam film. And it took Roger a month and a half to convince me to use the obvious thing, the castle. So that's what's nice working with someone like Roger, who's intelligent, who is not just thinking about the light and what the camera's doing, he's thinking about the film.
Fulfilling Terry's dreams is the most difficult thing that I've ever come across, because he isn't, although he is, but in some respects, the subtleties of what he's trying to do are often hidden.
It's an odd one, because on one hand, you're trying to show the information that is necessary. But on the other hand, you're trying to create a mood, which is not about information, but it's probably, in some ways, on some movies, they're actually more important. So it's a hard thing to define what you're doing.
Can you keep a secret?
No.
Good. Because you know what the little people told?
The little people.
You know. They said, you're the one.
The one what?
Shut up! Oh, get away from him! Oh, this'll get... Winter, good. So sorry about this. Very good. Oh, there we are. Yeah. They said you're not ready to know yet.
I'm not.
He is too! Get out of here! Fuck off! I have rights! Oh, yeah.
His particular challenge is that he is almost certain to use wide lenses. So that has lots of implications in terms of close-ups, because it means that you never can forget the set. The set is present in a close-up. It's not very flattering to have a 10mm lens below your nose, whoever you are. But I think they believe Terry's trying to do helps them to forget that and just do what he says, really. The station sequence in Fisher King had a long gestation. It was really just a scene of the Robin Williams character watching his girlfriend go home. On the recce, Terry dropped out the famous remark, "Wouldn't it be good if all the commuters were dancing?" Well, everyone's jaw dropped. Now, Grand Central Station is at least 200 foot high, and it's about 100 foot long. It's a cathedral-like place. And at the one end, there's this huge window. It's so big that you can, about 5 floors of walking, you can walk across the window at the end of Grand Central, made of glass. And I said, well, when can we shoot this sequence? And the Grand Central Station authority said, you've got to shoot it at night. We can't possibly have you in here during the day.
I remember Roger's big addition was putting the mirror ball, the disco mirror ball in the middle of this thing. And he had this silly, I'm not sure if it was his idea or my idea. That's what's the problem at this point, is whose idea it was. The central information kiosk in Grand Central, we were going to have it rise up and there was going to be a string quartet playing there. And on top was a mirror ball. And we didn't do the rising quartet, but we did do the mirror ball, which made it was magical.
I said to the key grip, Mike Miller, I'll have to cover that window with tracing paper. And Mike didn't even bat an eyelid, but said, I'll get my dad to do that. He could probably do it in about 3 days. And then I said to my gaffer, Jim Planette, another wonderful guy, I'll have to light it. And he said, oh, I'll put this huge light called the Moscow light up 5th Avenue and you'll be ready in 40 minutes. And in fact, that's what happened. I do think that, for my part, a cameraman's job is to be an enabler. I'm not a person that forces a style or dictates to the director what or what he can't do to make my images look good. It's a joint effort, and I feel that what we do when the director says, I wish to create this kind of feeling, I want to lead the audience, that we supply all the requisite tools.
It's one of the reasons I like working with Roger, because we're old mates, and we can do this without any bullshit, without any sort of academic or intellectual or theoretical nonsense. We just say, yeah, put some light there. Oh, get rid of that. Oh, geez, that'd be nice if we saw it. That feels better. Oh, that's great, terrific.
I think, unlike any other job, every single day is different. That's what I love about it, and that's the challenge about it.